Living on Alabama's Gulf Coast, back at it again today with another local business spotlight. This week, we're covering Summer Moon in Daphne. Marcus Allgood is going to give us a little inside look and show us what Summer Moon is all about. Let's go.
Hey everybody, we're here with Marcus Allgood, owner of Summer Moon Coffee here in Daphne, Alabama. Marcus owns Summer Moon with his wife Kelly. Marcus, thanks for meeting with us today.
Yeah, man, appreciate you coming in and checking it out and let me sit down and talk with y'all.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to hear a little bit more about your business. Want to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start Summer Moon?
So it's kind of a funny story because of the fact that I just sold my CrossFit gym in Pensacola and I started a real estate career. And Kelly and I kind of talked about opening a franchise. I said, if I ever started another business, like I didn't want to start from the bottom up, I wanted to open a franchise. And she came to me in July of 2020 and said, hey, do you want to sell coffee? And I was like, no, I don't. She's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I saw it in her face, like where she was kind of like, and I was like, well, just find out what it'd take. And she was like, it's the best coffee ever. And I never had it yet. And she's been drinking it since 2017. So she knew like the magic behind Summer Moon and what it entailed. And so then we started kind of talking with the CEO. And the more I started talking about it, the more I started researching it, the more excited I got. And so once I started doing the research on it, it was more exciting for me to actually get into a smaller company, smaller franchise, and kind of build with them. So it had everything that I wanted, but it also had the smaller parts of building your own business at the same time, where it just wasn't like a plug-in, you weren't starting from the ground, but you weren't starting at the top and just trying to ride it. You were like right about three quarters of the way down.
Right.
You got some backing behind them. They have the superior product of coffee and the moon milk, and they have the direction. And now I can take my expertise that I've used with the gym and learned through real estate and everything, and just take it to the next level here in Daphne.
That's awesome. You mentioned the product and how you're really impressed with the product. Tell us a little bit about how the product stands out compared to other coffee shops in the area.
Yeah, so the difference between our coffee and other coffees, it's oak roasted. So it's kind of smoked over this. Basically, it's a 19th century inspired brick roaster. It's real big, and we have pictures of it here in the shop. And they put Texas post oak in the bottom of it. And so that's what fuels the actual heat source to roast the beans. And so the smoke kind of rolls up into the hopper and gives it a little bit of an oak taste to it. And so with them doing the oak roasting, and they did all sorts of different kinds of woods, and oak is what they landed on. It gives it a more smooth taste, and it's way less bitter than most coffees out there. And so when people come in, they taste it for the first time, and you see their eyes light up, and you're like, oh yeah, you're serving something good, right? Because everybody says they have the best coffee.
Yeah.
Everybody says it, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, until you actually taste it. But if you see the person generally like light up after they drink it, you know they're telling the truth. Because you can see sometimes in people where you're just like, oh yeah, that's good. I never had the expression, And then the other thing we have is the moon milk, what pairs with all our espressos, the lattes. You can put it in cold brew, anything like that. And the moon milk is the signature sweet cream. And it's 7 different ingredients that the founders came up with that is proprietary to Summer Moon. And we don't know what's in it. There's only 5 people in the company that know. But we take that and we mix it with heavy cream and whole milk, and we shake it up, and it comes out to this delicious, creamy moon milk. Is what I mean. There's no other way to describe it. And so once that pairs together, like it's a magical moment for people when they first drink it. They're like, it's another light up moment for them. They're like, oh my gosh, that's really good. Like, and then they want to know about the moon milk, and then knowing that only 5 people know in the company, I think adds a little bit of mystery to it. So we'll have people come in and like try and guess the ingredients. I'm like, I don't know.
That's right. Hey, I had an opportunity to have a hazelnut latte here, and I know what he's talking about. We're talking about a smooth, bold wood smoke flavor. Can't beat it, man. It was awesome. Hey man, tell us a little bit about the culture of your employees here and the culture that you're trying to build with your staff to bring the best experience to your patrons here at Summer Moon.
So what we do is, hiring's hard for anybody.
Yeah.
And, you get some bad apples, but you get a lot of good apples too. And the main thing I'm really looking for in a person is just, are they outgoing? Are they going to be able to handle the volume of people in the mornings and even in the evenings? are they a go-getter? Do they basically like, do they do things on their own? You know, like a self-starter pretty much. And then the other thing is like, you have to go above and beyond everything because of the fact that we're such a brand new company that we're trying to build the brand here and such a new company that nobody knows about us. So if we don't put out the best service, people aren't going to come back. And we want people to come back and feel welcome. I like to make sure they know how to like recognize people, try and memorize names. We all work on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we try, but recognizing faces is the main thing, you know. So people come in and they enjoy coming here. We know them, and they just feel comfortable here. And so like once you come in and actually like look at their environment, we try and provide like a homely environment. Like you should be walking in feeling like you're at somebody's house. And so that's what I want for my staff to do, is just to make you happy and make you feel welcome. And I have plenty of friends around here that text me and be like, your staff is amazing. Like they're doing the right things. They explain the moon milk, they explain everything. And we've had people like leave reviews saying that they've never had a barista treat them like we do in a coffee shop. And that's what I instill. And the other thing, one of the main things is all the businesses that I worked in, I try and take all the good pieces of those and put them all together into one. And so I think it creates a really good culture and it creates a great environment.
That's awesome. And I'm telling you, when we came in today, we were greeted by Marcus's staff. They even came up to us and said, hey, do you have the guest password for the Wi-Fi? Because they recognized that we had iPads with us. And I said, that's just coming out and standing out above and beyond. Marcus, hey, tell us a little bit about why you chose Daphne and what the community of Daphne means to you a little bit.
So we chose Daphne because we saw a big need for another coffee shop. There used to be one in this location, and it closed down, and we still saw a need for it. We looked on Facebook, things like that, and we saw the need because of the fact that we do have one right up the street and there's one like across the street, but there wasn't any with a drive-through. And so we really wanted to bring that back to the Daphne area. The only way to get a drive-through is you had to go like basically to I-10 to be able to go get a drive-through coffee. And we knew we had such a good product that if we had a drive-through and we could open up in Daphne, Daphne would be big enough to support us and to support the other coffee shops around, and just to give everybody another drive-through location. And Daphne is it's right off of Interstate 10, so we kind of thought that, you know, we could pull some of the Texas crowd because it is a Texas-based company to come in here and check it out. And we've already had plenty of Texas people, some Oklahoma people, even people from Kansas come down off of I-10, which is 4 miles from I-10, to detour their vacation to come see us.
That's awesome.
So I think it's real cool to be able to be part of that destination location, even though it's still Daphne, like in the middle, but it's still cool to be able to be on the way to the beach.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And can you tell me a little bit about what Summer Moon does to give back to the community a little bit?
So what we do now is I personally go out there and try and find different events. And what I like to do is take some coffee to these different events. Like I did the Outdoor and Home Expo. I did the Eastern Shore Expo in Fairhope. I do Coffee with the Mayor, and I support him. So we're going to do that June 27th. On the way y'all putting this out. But June 27th, Daphne Civic Center, stop by, see what the mayor's doing. It's a really good time. They just talk about what's going on happening with the city, things like that. And then I get back to the church. I went to the church and served some coffee. We went to the Daphne High School and served some coffee. Like any kind of event that I can get into to just serve people coffee and just to make their day, because a lot of times they'll see Summer Moon and they're like, what is it? Or they'll be so happy that we're there because they've already had it and like, oh my gosh, you're making my day. Like this, and you see like they light up and they're so happy about it. And so that really inspires me just to keep going and just to keep getting out there to these different events, just to say hi to people and just to meet people and just listen to their story.
That's awesome. Community involvement, that's where it's at. We drive local, and Summer Moon is driving it home.
Yes, sir.
One question we like to ask people is, you know, what's a book that's inspired you and been influential in your life?
So, good question, because of the fact that 2019, I think it was, I thought had the gym and I was like, man, there's gotta be something else out there. There's gotta be something more. And I was trying to like search for all this knowledge I could find. And I went on a rampage and read like 35 books that year from like January to December. And the one that stands out the most is Atomic Habits. and it will teach you. I mean, if you wanted to quit smoking, you wanted to quit drinking, it'll teach you how to do all that. But it's not about that. It's about instilling these tiny little habits and compounding them. Because I read the compound effect too, and that's kind of the same, but Atomic Habits takes it to another level, like completely, like 1,000 times more into like what habits will do for you. So basically, you take little bits. Start here, like say I want to eat healthy, so start by eating 2 eggs in the morning, and then you compound it like the next week by adding something else to it, and then adding something else to it, and then by 3 months it's a habit, and you're automatically going to do it. Yep. And so doing that kind of thing in my life from like 2019 on has put me to where I'm at now. Changed my lifestyle, changed my eating habits, changed my workouts, like changed my outlook on business, changed my outlook on how I approach a business. Like we all want it now, but you have to input those little habits into place to be able to get to the now, which is 6 months, a year from now. And when you look back from a year from now, you're gonna be like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Right.
You know? And then just the amount of like knowledge this guy had in this book is just, it's outstanding how crazy it is.
That's awesome. Wow, I'm inspired. All right, Marcus, speaking of inspiration, what would you tell young entrepreneurs out there how to go about their day-to-day to get started in what they're inspired to do?
So it just depends on like what they're gonna do, but basically you just gotta go for it.
Right.
Like the main thing is, like Steve Harvey says, like you gotta jump. You're gonna fail, and it's okay. Like I probably went through 6 or 7 businesses before I got to here. But one thing you cannot do is you can't win the lottery.
Right.
Because if you win the lottery, you're just gonna blow all the money. So you have to take those stepping stones of the failures and the goods and the highs and the lows and everything and just learn upon those. Like the main thing you're gonna have to do is learn on your mistakes. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're never gonna go forward. You're just gonna keep going backwards. And so with young entrepreneurs, like you just gotta take the chance. And being young, you can take all the chances you want.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many people that supposedly like lived in their car, things like that, but that's all part of it. You don't have to do that, go down that road, but that builds character and it builds your ability to learn more and to be more hungry to go to the next one. Like, I mean, I failed probably like 4 or 5 businesses before I had one good one. And it's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, as long as you learn from it, just keep moving forward.
Right, right. Hey, that's great advice. Thank you, Marcus, very much for taking the time to show us Summer Moon. Enjoyed it. Looking forward to sending people your way, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
You can really sense the love and passion that Marcus and his staff have for Summer Moon and their coffee. If you or anyone you know own a business along Alabama's Gulf Coast and want us to feature it, let us know, as you or them could be the next local business spotlight. Now it's time for me and Tim to get back to work, try to sell some houses. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.